that whenever someone comes up to say hello to me and I say hi, they go like, oh, you're nice. I didn't even start talking.
Yeah.
They just, do you assume that I'm going to spit at you in public? We can do that in private, but I'm not going to do it.
Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Mia.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And everything about how femininity is a social construct. And today is a very special day for the studio.
We have our first guest ever.
Zouz.
Woo!
Hey guys, how's it going?
Welcome to Sprinkles and Spice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my God, I feel the need to do the official Kuwaiti interview. يعطيكم العافية على الاستضافة.
What is one answer to this?
قولي لنا منو هي زوز؟ You know?
Oh my God.
قولي لنا منو هي زوز؟
زوز روح قبل لا تكون إنسان.
So, Zouz, for those who don't know, is an artist, a filmmaker, a writer, a podcast host, an international comedian who just happened to open for Maz Jabrani. And what else, Zouz? Is there anything else to add? Ruler of the world, superwoman.
Whenever I want to put a USB into a port, I get it right the first time.
Wow.
A genius.
An actual literal genius.
So do you have a day job as well on top of all of that? Or?
Yeah, I'm a freelancer, so I do visual representation for businesses. So I handle like campaigns, anything to do with visuals.
So
And
she
they're
does
usually
everything.
F&B businesses because we live in Kuwait.
Okay, so everything on earth.
Yeah. Is there anything you can't do?
I can't sing. And my ability to swim is just like not die for an hour.
Okay. Love that.
Solid.
Right?
She could be a superhero.
All right, so you are human after all.
Unfortunately, flesh and blood. Much to my dismay.
Well, today's topic is going to be about nonconformity and misconceptions. And before we get into
Zainab,
it,
just if you have something to say to me, say it to my face. There's no need to make an episode.
Would you call yourself an artist? I think 'cause everything you do has to do somewhat with the art. So would you call yourself an artist?
Yeah, so I've actually accepted the title of artist. So when I started, it was like I was just a tinker. I like to open things up, see how they work.
Not a thinker.
Tinkerer.
Oh, tinker.
tinkerer?
I was
Yeah.
like, a thinker. I was like, what is a thinker?
But that's actually what they call philosophies in our day. They call them thinkers, which
what's
I'm not.
a tinker?
A tinker is someone. A tinker is someone that likes to figure out how things work, breaks them apart, notices patterns. So that's why I seem to be good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's just because I can notice patterns.
Yeah.
So what started the whole artist thing is Instagram, because it was the first thing that I can like take a picture of, because I would always draw. To me, like drawing is second nature. It wasn't like, oh, I like to draw. It was drawing. It was like a symptom, really. So it's like one of the things that I do. That's why it seems like I do a lot of things, because I like to start with an idea of something that I noticed, or like realizing similarities between things that are seemingly unsimilar. And then the best way to represent it would be to choose the form. Sometimes it's better to be a drawing. Sometimes it's better to be a movie. So that's how. So on Instagram, people were like, "Oh, you're an artist," and I was like, "I am."
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
What
I think
does-
we see that the most in your haltomas, which for our non-Arabic speakers is like literally the rants. Yeah.
So my background is in philosophy and literature and criticism, and that helped me become a better artist. And I did my master's just so that like I didn't want to be a bullshit artist. So what ends up happening is that I took everything that I'm good at and made it into these like short content, or as short as possible, with humor, with everything that I'm good at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked. I didn't think it would work.
They're
And
brilliant, honestly.
whenever like there's a topic that I think would go over everyone's head, because I just put it out for me. Like I made this video about maps, and everyone lost it. And like I didn't think anyone would geek out over maps like I did. So it was so cool.
Yeah. No, I love the way like there's always a message in every haltoma, but the way you get to it is just, I think is like a kind of like us, like you're allowing us to go into your mind with the illustrations and everything. And it to me, I don't know, at least I enjoy them so much because I feel like they're they're like pure artistry. Like the whole thing is artistry. Like the way you talk about it and the art that you use and how you reach that message that eventually like.
I really appreciate this. You have it's I work so hard on them. I work so hard on them. I do so much research and my back hurts afterwards. And then everyone is like, when's the next one? I'm like, pay me.
How long does it take you to do one?
Like I research for over a week, but keep in mind, this is something I studied and I'm researching it again. I already know it, so I know where to look. If I was someone that knew nothing about this topic, I would have to go talk to people.
Yeah.
Like there's a haltuma coming up next week and it's about dance. So I researched it with Manair. We went to a dance studio and I had to like ask her questions and film her and do like diagrams. It's a very long process. I did one about the food scene in Kuwait.
Yeah.
And I had my friend Umar, who I have a podcast with, this to that. Hey Umar.
Shameless plug.
Shout out Umar.
Yeah. So he went around with me interviewing people. And he was like, wow, that was hard work. I'm like, yeah, I usually do it in my mind.
Yeah.
No, I just did it barra. Yeah, it takes a really long time to prepare for. And it's actual research. Like this is an actual essay that I'm coming up with, but it's just like accessible content as opposed to the uppity academia shit that I've been doing when I was in school of people like, by the way, you know, like everything that is like trending on TikTok, that's theory and everyone's saying things like intersectional feminism. You know, this started in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
It's just that these people
Just
are
found
so like up their own asses with how elitist they are that they're like, oh, the language is difficult. These laymen don't get it. No, it's your fault that they don't get it.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to dumb it down. Well, not dumb it down. Okay, dumb it down. I'm sorry. Like I don't know why I pretended to.
Or put it in layman's terms, yeah.
But look, like make it entertaining. It's difficult to do. Like I call myself a PSA vigilante.
Add that to the list of things she does.
I have like so many questions like about your haltumas alone, but I feel like that.
But you see how like when I take a topic and then I go to another topic and you're like, that was a good jump. That's what I do, is that I can see a pattern. I can see a similarity and then I manage to show it to you because I have skills in the visual and in writing. And
How did the idea come about though? Because it is something that, like Zem said, we've never seen anything like it. It does feel like almost it feels voyeuristic in a way where I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm looking into her brain and I feel like this is her diary and it's giving inner monologue, but in a very, you're like almost like, hey, you're here with me, you know, like it's intimate. It's intimate. It's so intimate. And I think to have done that and it's on a screen, it's kind of crazy.
Okay, so I'll answer it in a two-part answer. In terms of we've never seen anything like it before. Whenever I do something, it's because I want to watch it. It's not necessarily because like, there are a lot of shows that do a lot of things, which is great, but I cannot sell a t-shirt because I won't buy a t-shirt. That's my problem with selling merch, is that I can't make something unless I know I would wear this. So when it comes to haltuma, I always make something that I'm interested in. And I can't see anything that is like Bill Nye the Science Guy today, which is what we grew up with.
Yeah.
And I'm insane about like science made silly, like knowledge made not serious. It's very important to see it this way because anything that we know now will be made fun of later. So let's take it as that.
Okay.
And then there's this show called Connections. It's a British show on BBC, and it's this guy who would talk about history, and he'd talk about something that was invented in like the edge of China and how it affected like something in Europe, like a saying. So he does that, and I'm like, why don't we have something like that today? And the first episode of Connection features Kuwait, actually.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And it's from 79, I think. It's a really, really good show. And he's a British documentarian. He's in a suit and he walks like in the desert like this, but it looks so whimsical and silly.
Yeah.
And then there's everything that influenced Wes Anderson, like Jacques Cousteau and the crafts, the volcanologists. Like this is the kind of content that I'm interested in. Science has to be entertainment, edutainment, if you will. It's actually what it's called. I'm not. Yeah, it's
like I'm not making it up.
It's an actual category.
I didn't invent that.
Yeah. So, and then in terms of something that is intimate and personal. So, before COVID, I used to just put out things that are like, oh, this is the theory that I know, and now I'm applying it, and I'm never going to talk about anything personal because it's my thing, and I'm so like, like self-conscious about it. During COVID, I don't know why, I put out this video about OCD. And it's about how a person, like, you know, would have a habit that they would repeat because they think if they stop it, the world would end. Because we all have this need to control things. And no one saw through that it was personal. Everyone saw themselves. It doesn't matter how personal you get. It doesn't matter what you say about your life. Everyone will always see themselves. And I've said this, like, I sat one time in a lecture thing situation. And I told people, it doesn't matter what I say about myself. You will only see you. And then people kept talking about themselves. Like, people kept like raising their hands, talking about stuff. Like, even with saying it up front, they still, which is great. It means art is relatable, and that's the job of it. But it doesn't matter how intimate I am. It actually does the job more for people to reflect as opposed to see through me.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't matter how honest I am and how authentic I am and how I like lay myself out. It's always going to be a persona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so which is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's a lie. It's like, yeah, the language is a lie. That's how we communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that got deep, yeah?
Yeah. Love that.
But in a similar vein, then I guess it's fair to ask, what does being an artist mean to you?
So being an artist, I think, is giving a perspective that someone else who works with tangible things can't give. So, for instance, you have, let's talk about comedians. So George Carlin has this joke about people that want to save the planet. He's like, what? The nerve, you save the planet? The planet has been through much worse. You want to save yourself. If the bees die, you die. And then he goes, you want to save the planet from plastic? The planet has seen so much. Maybe it actually needed plastic and didn't know how to get it, so it made you to make plastic. Maybe that's the meaning of your life. After you die, the earth is just going to contain plastic as one of its elements. What's the meaning of life? Plastic. So that's a really good perspective. Brought in as a joke.
Yeah.
And it's something that no scientist could come up with as a perspective, even though it's funny.
Yeah.
So the role of the artist is to create a symbol like a watermelon for Palestine, for instance. So that becomes something powerful. That becomes a tool of communication. So it's just someone else in society. You'd almost think we should all work together. Like, almost like it's just artists are one of the people that work on making life better.
Yeah.
Making us understand ourselves and each other better. For me, it's that. It's drawing connections. It's changing perspective.
Do you feel like the way people perceive Haltoma, they see it as like a controversial?
So every time I put out something, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble for this. But again, people don't see, number one. Number two, because of my persona and the way I talk, people want to get in on it because they don't want to be against someone that talks like this.
Yeah.
And so far, the only people that I've had criticism with over the content, it was actually very constructive, and I learned so much from it. And I would like issue like I'd fix like bad information that I put out or something. But usually, what people don't like is just the way I look. Like, that's the problem they would have. Like, يعني حتى مثلا, like, I have a haltuma out and it's about Palestine, and then someone's like, you shouldn't be talking about Palestine with the way you look. I'm like,
what?
Missing the point here, sir.
Well, I think that's a great way to get into the topic
of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
and they asked me like, Inte bint wala walad? Like, what is your actual question? Your question is, why are you not the girl I know here?
Yeah.
Why are you not what I know to be a girl and what I want to be a girl? Because it makes my brain comfortable and I can't bend it a bit further.
I think that's literally what it is. It's like people, because things make them uncomfortable, so they start like attacking you because how dare you like not fit this idea that I have of what, you know, a girl should look like, or a guy, or, you know what I mean?
I mean, as empathetic as I can get, that sounds like that kind of logic sounds like
a you problem.
It is a you problem, but like, consider what it's like to be this person. It's a very frightening place to be. Like, their head is really scary. If you think the world is your house and you can't leave, it sounds like you need treatment. Yeah. I'm not saying, oh, like, it's not musabba, you need treatment. It's, you actually need to see other people in the world, that people are not.
Especially, I think in this day and age, like, the society has evolved so much that, like, I think people are exploring their individual style and their identity, especially with like social media. If you're still uncomfortable with certain things, and that it really is a you problem. Like you really have to deal with that yourself. But yeah, so we wanted to talk about like traditional expectations of appearance. So especially here in our region.
In our region, I think femininity and being a woman and masculinity and being a man, aesthetically, it's quite rigid. So
yeah.
you are a woman that dresses aesthetically in a more masculine way.
Yeah, you would think, but like if I had dressed in a way that is traditionally more feminine, I would look off. Like I don't wear it. You know, sometimes you can wear clothes but not wear them.
Yeah.
It's not a part of your attitude.
Yeah.
This is actually, and I'd have to put it into like method for you to see, like the scientific method.
Yeah.
This is the most feminine I could look. I'm not joking. And this is the most feminine I could feel. This is my representation of femininity.
Yeah.
And I believe that I am a feminine person. And my pronouns are she, her, sada, bnu, tahina. Like it's very, this is it. I'm not, you know what I mean? And it's not a bad thing to be able to shop from every department. I'm sorry, but everyone wants that. Who doesn't want to be able to shop from every department? Just because like women's clothes, like have you shopped for like a woman's formal shirt?
Nightmare.
They don't have all the buttons.
Yeah.
They don't tuck in properly. Like it's as if they're trying to tell you to stay in place and not wear a suit. Like it's this short, the corner.
Yeah.
It's like it comes out if you have an opinion, you know? Like just don't speak up as a woman. So yeah, I'm an XX small teenage boy in terms of size. And I'll wear it, and I will get all the funding I can get out of these meetings because men respond to suits because مسخرة. Also, kids' clothes are cheaper. I'm going.
Must be nice, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to get a 14-year-old sweater. What?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a privilege.
I love shopping in the men's section. I don't know.
I was gonna say I actually like blazers.
Yeah.
From the men's section a lot more.
Yeah,
and they're better quality,
oversized shirts.
Yeah,
they really
better
are.
and cheaper.
Yeah. There's pink tax. We know that anything that's for women is usually just more expensive.
So there's misogyny in fashion as well.
Yeah, I love the inner pocket.
Yeah.
The inner pocket.
The denim pockets. Did you see like men's jeans? You can put a phone. You can put a full phone in it.
You could put a car.
Because women don't have to carry things because we just carry things with our fingers.
And then we evolved to just like carry everything.
I'm literally looking at my pocket. You have like a nice pocket. One of my pockets is so small, I cannot even put my little AirPod case.
Yeah. I get them tailored. Khayat Kareem, shout out. Love that guy. Taylor's awesome.
Shout out Kareem.
Yeah. But it's so difficult to have something that suits everybody, let alone like I'm not even just going to talk about femininity. Like Arab women's bodies is difficult to it's difficult to get clothes for.
We talk about this almost every
episode. You
episode.
get like al-warch, صح?
No.
Yeah.
And then the waist is
large.
Like especially we talk about this all the time. I was telling her like back in the day it was a nightmare. Like we didn't even have like extended sizes or plus sizes, like, you know what I mean? And she knows how much I hate these terms, but they weren't catered to people who were over a size 10 or a 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
US, yeah.
For me, it was the opposite because like when we were younger, we'd shop like there. Remember before the malls?
Yeah.
And then when Zara
Salmiya
came into Salmiya Qadima, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing was my size. Like the smallest small was not my size. And then all of these international brands came in, and I'm like, oh, I'm a small, like regular small. It's not like I'm an unbelievable non-existent small.
Yeah.
Because everyone made me feel sickly growing up. And then I was like, oh, I am the mannequin. It's fine. Yeah. So
I'm a model.
yeah, but I'm a model in a Western standard, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like I like all models in the West look androgynous.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that.
If I had longer hair and if I was 2 inches taller, I'd be a model in the Western sense.
Yeah.
I'd still be sickly bilzwara. It's not gonna like it's culturally different. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to like our rigid expectations of femininity bil Kuwait, what is said publicly is very different than what is said privately.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually don't know any of this, so you have to break it down for me.
Okay, so there's a majority, not a majority, but it's an overwhelming number of men who like the way I look.
Okay.
Straight men. Okay. It's fine. It exists. It's not like, I don't like when people treat different genders as like, what do men like? What do women like? We're not cattle. You don't just give us like I'm sorry, like even cattle has different taste. Yeah. Like they're individual as well, kind of. It's like you can't talk about people like that, men or women. It's always very offensive. It's not just about how they look, it's also about what they like. You can't assume that. So like hatta, like when I tell my mom is very traditionally beautiful.
Inshallah.
But like whenever I tell her like, yeah, this guy likes me, she's like, he's sure.
Gee, moms, thanks.
Yeah, and I go like, I don't know, like, shukran.
But that's the thing that we were talking
sorry,
about.
I need a second to think it over.
But she takes it back because she's always like,
Like
why?
You can always count on your mom to humble you in the worst way possible.
no,
If, you know when you think you look so cute, and you're like, Mom, don't I look so pretty? And then she's like,
No. My mom loves the way I dress, but she is very well aware of the fact that she doesn't understand it. And she's made peace with that.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't understand this, but from what I see on TV, this is like cool and chic. And she's always like, whenever she needs to explain me to other people, she's like, yeah, she's a little French. I don't know. I'm like, that's very
French
close to
girl,
accent, actually.
Can you confirm?
I mean, no, she's just cool. Like, I don't think it's French. You look great. It's
You know,
not,
like a Khaliji mom's understanding of French. Yeah.
It's like Khaliji moms qualify me as French too, and I would say aesthetically we couldn't be like further apart.
But that's the thing, is that I feel like people just want to put you in some sort of like box, I guess, like, and it's their definition of what that.
Put me in a box.
Yeah.
I don't mind categorization. It's something that we've been doing since we were Neanderthals in order to mark what's safe and unsafe for us. But if you're gonna pick a box, I'll give you one. I'm a mom. People don't know this about me. I'm a mom without kids. You know that mom that's like, why buy this? We can make it at home.
Yeah,
That's me. That's the box I am.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. Thank you. I'm done now.
No, but me and Mia were talking about this, I think last night, where we were like, there is an emphasis, especially here, on conformity, and not just like dressing according to your gender. It's also like where if something's trending, everyone has to buy the same purse. All the girls have to wear their hair the same way.
I agree with that, and I think so. I feel like I always have a weird perspective of Kuwait because I'm, half Kuwaiti, but I've never lived here. So I feel like I always look at Kuwait almost like from like it's a snow globe. Like I'm like, this is my picture in the snow globe. I bought this snow globe. I'm in it with my family, but I'm not in the snow globe. I'm looking at my picture in the snow globe. And in reality, when you look at Kuwait from the outside, from a bird's eye view, it is true that sometimes it's almost shocking how homogenous it is. For a country that I would deem international, like there's a huge non-Kuwaiti society here. A lot of Kuwaitis are from different backgrounds. When you just look at it from a bird's eye view, you're like, oh my god, everyone really looks the same and talk the same, and everyone knows each other, and it's almost like a bubble that does not exist outside of Kuwait.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually multiple bubbles in Kuwait. So if you're in cliques and if you're in circles, which I'm assuming you are because of your circle of friends, and I say that about myself as well. Like I came into building and being a part of different communities, and I'm so grateful for that. Alhamdulillah, I found my people. But a lot of these people don't know about where I came from. I mean, the people that I'm used to. I never thought I'd be someone who would like sit on a podcast and like talk about my gender and how I present myself. That would have been like, that's a fucking fantasy.
Yeah.
But before that, all I knew, it was like it was default, just rejection. So whenever I post something on Instagram and then my friends see someone hate or troll on a comment, they're like, I can't believe there are people that are backwards to this day. And I'm like, where do you think you live? Like you're so deep in your bubble that you don't understand that the majority is people that wouldn't accept people like us.
Yeah.
It's like we've managed to build this like safe, cloistered society, but it's not realistic to the majority.
Yeah. Do you think there is a fear of being massively individual here, or expressing themselves in a different way, and that's why they conform?
I have a lot to say about that. Like I've learned that individuality, par excellence, is not exactly the best way to go, considering that I am Arab and I am Khaliji, and this is where I come from, and the culture that is like more communal. As much of an introvert I do realize its benefits. But in terms of being individualistic, people seem to deny the fact that they have internalized so much.
Yeah.
And they try to be individualist, so it just ends up being like, you see someone have an argument with themselves.
Yeah.
يعني I'm sorry, but like, I don't know if you see this. People who pretend to be, not pretend, like they really genuinely think they're open-minded.
Yeah, open mind.
Open
Oh
mind.
my God.
And then they say they're open-minded, and then they hate on conservative people. That's not being open-minded.
Exactly.
That's,
no open-minded person is actually saying they're open-minded. Just so we're putting it out
you
there.
can just actually being open-minded is not giving a damn about anything and about how anyone thinks. And then there are people that are out in the world conservative, and then they enjoy the things that are forbidden, and they just want it to be underground. So a lot of the majority of people, at least the ones that I know, are not what they say they are not what they're like. Yeah, we need to be individualistic, we need to be whatever. And then I'm like, you hate women, what are you talking about? You wouldn't allow for a woman to say the things that you're saying. Double standards. Mani arfa, like, where to start with this. Going back to fashion and being individualistic. So for the longest time, I really genuinely thought I hated fashion. I thought it wasn't for me. But then I realized, I grew up in the early 2000s. Fashion sucked. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It sucked balls.
In defense of the early 2000s,
Shino. Shino.
Britney Spears.
You're not making it better.
Low-waisted jeans.
Ew.
Butterfly tops. Butterfly clips. Glittery.
Look الخايس حياية. ليش? Why is there a snake in your fashion?
I'm upset. Please.
Bedazzled cowboy hats.
Obsessed.
I think
a mini skirt over jeans.
Oh my God.
Stop.
A mini skirt.
A little jacket. Why is it little? It's either a jacket or is it?
She's now you're just insulting my whole closet. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm
yes. It was a disgusting era.
She's a zillennial, and you know how like zillennials and Gen Z are obsessed with the early 2000 like style and
who was it? There was a TikToker who was like, "Oh, did you like the late 90s, early 2000s? Do you want to wait for the bus and stare at your feet?"
The worst was the super low rise jeans.
How do you sit down?
You don't. Sometimes you gotta stand up to the man, and that's what those jeans are for. Anyways,
stand up for the man.
Yeah, I had to stick up my ass and I stood up for everyone. That's not a solution.
I'm obsessed with that era. That's like I all my Pinterest mood boards, all my Tumblr. It's like a shrine to all.
What
that.
happened right after the early 2000s? Fashion started going back immediately. They were like, "Ooh, sorry." That's what happened. And then the Great Gatsby came out, and everyone was like, "How to do your hair like DiCaprio?" And I'm like, "That's the opposite of the point of the movie, but mushkila." But like, just dress normal. What is wrong with a windbreaker?
What's wrong with a shrug? I love a shrug. I love a little shrug.
What's a shrug?
It's like that little crop jacket that you're talking about, like the knit. Like just.
It's called a shrug.
It's called a shrug.
You literally don't know. Like the expression is I don't know. Like you're wearing something
shrug
that is like.
Or wait, what was it the same as a bolero?
No, a bolero.
What's
something
a bolero?
Else. A bolero is a different fabric usually. It's like more. It's more. Like
it's wider. It has the bat wing.
It doesn't have.
I don't even know what that is, but I'm like getting secondhand embarrassment just hearing about it.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, so speaking of like how I hated fashion, I reached a point like it was BA years, and I decided I'm just gonna be in a uniform. Yeah. So I had my own money, and I just bought white and blue shirts, and I bought the same pants, and I just wore that every day. It was a uniform, and I was like, this achieves the goal of being invisible. I will be invisible. It did the exact opposite.
I'm so confused by one thing. What inspired the uniform? Did you go to school and like you were like, oh, I love this? Did you go to jail and you said, oh, I love this? Like, where is the uniform?
School, like private school, boarding school, jail. A lot of the time sounds like a fantasy if it's high end, you know? Yeah. Like I used to look at uniforms and I'm like, why aren't they better? They can easily be better. Yeah. Also, I love structure. I'm a very disciplined person. I have lists for everything. I have like schedules all the time. I made friends who are all exactly the same. Like May, Fanay May, Manayar. Oh, yeah. We all like, they have the Google Calendar. I have it on paper and we all love structure. Yeah. I found my people, literally.
She's looking at me like this because she knows I love structure.
Why do you think I know Zainab? I know her through the girls.
Yeah.
I could not be more.
And then she is the opposite of that. So I don't know how we're friends.
I don't know how we're, not just friends. I don't know how we're best friends. How we spend every waking moment together.
But sometimes I think that's why
I don't have anything on a calendar. You tell me like, oh, let's do this on Friday. I'm like, okay, mental note. If I remember
But
great.
but
if I
do
don't-
you? But when she tells you like, by the way, today we had this, and then you go along, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's your
Yeah.
calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. It's kind of cute.
I know that. I've been known that. Anyway, so
How do you
you
feel?
like
Yeah. So I started with the whole uniform,
Yeah.
and then I began to like focus on the details of the uniform. Like I like tailoring. I like how things are stitched, and so I started to go buy fabric and get suits made.
And then it evolved.
And then it evolved into this thing that
Yeah.
I wear.
Do you think it's gonna evolve some more? Like
Yes, like I know it sounds like nothing, but I'm sure you'll understand. Like I'm wearing a lot of things without collars and then a blazer over.
Yeah.
It's a whole other feel.
Yeah. You're exploring the non-collar.
It's
look.
casual dark academia.
I told you. Okay, pause. I was dying to talk about dark academia. So it was
Yeah.
like, Mia, what is this? She was not trying to explore it. And I was like, the TikTok girlies? No, because I'm the TikTok correspondent. So I just wanted to say, we see you, we hear you, we're obsessed. It's so dead society.
literally told
dead
me.
post society aesthetic. Like it's you are the core of dark academia.
I try so hard not to be the stereotype of everything that I am, but I'm disgustingly hipster. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I say things and I'm like, ew, I just said that. I say sometimes I liked it before it was cool. Like
Yeah, yeah.
about hipsters, I say. And yeah, I have night to just flag it every time.
Are these for our YouTube viewers? They're getting to obviously see everything, which as you guys know, please watch us on YouTube. It's always so much more entertaining. Are these glasses prescription or are they just for the aesthetic?
Their prescription.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you match your glasses to your outfits?
I have one that's brown and one that's blue, and it depends on the weather. So if it's cloudy, it's nicer if it's yellow, and if it's dusty, it's nicer if it's blue because it's
So
into
in
the Kuwait.
Kuwait every day is blue
No, right now it should be yellow, but I wore the blue one anyway.
to match your shirt.
Yes.
Okay.
What are the major misconceptions when people like first meet you, like the first impressions, not just the way you dress, but also like from their preconceived notions of like seeing you like on Instagram or just the way you think?
So because of the whole Instagram persona, are you familiar with Faqrat al-Faqra, the question Q&A thing that I do?
It sounds familiar.
So it's just a funny thing that I
Yeah.
do where I tell people to tell me something about themselves, and then I just roast them for no reason. And it has nothing to do with, like, I'd say, like, what's your favorite breakfast? And I'll say something about you. And then they'd say, like, eggs. And I'm like, oh, you yell at your coworkers every day and no one likes you. Just like, it's extremely pointless. And in the beginning, I say, like, this is a joke and I will roast you. So be a bit of a sport about it. And people started to enjoy it so much that whenever, it's like a lot of answers, so I don't have time to answer all of them. I'd get DMs. They're like, "You didn't roast me today. This is the third time I participate, and I don't get roasted." So people start to enjoy it. I'm like, we live in a very masochistic society. But people believe this persona and the whole, gender thing, that whenever someone comes up to say hello to me, and I say hi, they go like, "Oh, you're nice." I didn't even start talking.
Yeah.
They just, do you assume that I'm going to spit at you in public? We can do that in private, but I'm not going to do it at a hello.
Yeah.
People really do expect a certain thing to just constantly happen. And I never give it to them because I always think it's a given that what you see online is not going to be.
Yeah.
Also, if it's mean, why would you say hello to a person that you think is mean? If you have that preconceived notion and you're surprised that I'm nice, why did you come up and say hello to begin with? It's like, hi, hajjantati. What do you want?
I don't know. I don't get that. Like, I think people like, if they come up to you and you're mean, they're like, I knew it. Like, it kind of like validates that, you know what I mean? What they
Dude,
thought.
I'm not even famous. What are you doing? What value does this have?
I don't know.
I'm a person that just complains online, and it's kind of funny.
No, but I think in the same sense, like we have a similar problem.
Yeah, where we get typecast as something based on our appearance as well. And it's not, I mean, some people I think looking at us, and that's just because of like pop culture, media, movies, they just assume we're going to be, for example, a bit ditzy or dumb. And
Yeah. Because we're into makeup and hair and all these things.
Do you ever have these women that tell you, "Oh, if men think you're ditzy, use your feminine"?
I mean, we say that to each other.
No. Listen, I'm gonna just say something.
But like,
in defense of it, I do think if I walk into a room, That's a man's. You can do that. I don't care. Kidding, thought I love you. No, but I am gonna say something. If I walk into a room, which more often than not, when I walk into a room, and I know Zainab, you feel the same way, I know the immediate reaction from men, and I don't want to believe that, and I do try and just walk in, I'm positive vibes. I'm not thinking about it, but in the back of my mind, I know that I can expect someone to react in a way or assume that I'm not the brightest light bulb.
Yeah.
I certainly know that I've gotten to this point not through my own beliefs, but when I tell people that I have 3 law degrees, for example, the immediate reactions, I was like, oh my God, what? Really? You? I didn't expect it. Why? No, why? Why can I not be all giggly and fun and like hair and makeup and be all dressed up and not be, I don't know, academically intelligent?
No, but I also think the reason why we play into it is because like it's either you get mad and then you're crazy, you know what I mean? Or you're and you don't end up getting your way and you're just mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you want to assume that's on you, you're dumb. You didn't take the chance to like get to know me for who I am.
And also there is I'm not gonna lie, like anyone that's experienced this, isn't there a sick enjoyment of like proving to someone that you're intelligent?
I like that. Joey proving someone wrong.
I don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
wrong.
gonna show you.
I'm gonna show you. Or
Yeah.
it's like you're literally you're a numbers girl. People have no idea when they start talking to you and they realize how intelligent you are. And
Yeah. Faye was telling you the other day where she was like, did you know Faye fell in love with me the moment she saw me work on Excel?
no one,
Like, did you know if you update it, you get an email?
Yeah.
But actually, that's it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I come from a privileged position of like, no one's ever gonna call me a nisra for being.
Yeah.
It's like a shrew, like a. Oh, sorry. I know the Shakespearean term for that. It's a shrew. That's what it is.
okay, yeah, okay.
There's a play called The Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
And see, they know Shakespeare too. My God.
No, but the reality is that there is a sick enjoyment. I'm sure you feel the same way. And when someone's like, she's gonna be a bitch, she dresses like a boy, she probably thinks she's the man or whatever, there's sick enjoyment. Be like, well,
But
actually, I'm for the girls.
But I do have more of a privilege when it comes to that because like the way people respond to me in a suit in a meeting,
Yeah.
it's like everything I say is true. And I think it's the glasses and the way that I talk is like I talk really fast and I enunciate in a specific way that like I know I'm making them sound like apes, but it's because they are. It's like
Yeah.
it's just I get my way because
Yeah.
I have lapels.
But then,
we get
for
our
example,
way too.
I sit in a meeting. No, but that's the thing. Like, if I sit in a meeting and I speak the same way that Zouz does, nobody listens to me. Like, or they won't really take my word. And I told you, I've complained about this a lot. Where, like, I would work with men and I would tell them something and it's right, and they wouldn't listen. And then 4 or 5 months later, someone in Diwania would tell them the same exact thing, and then they would come and say it to me. And I think it's because I'm a girly girl. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like putting makeup on and like doing my hair, they think it just makes me dumber automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have feedback that establishes what your demographic is for
Oh my
this
God,
podcast?
we're like 90% women.
Yeah.
What age range?
25 to 34, like 80%.
My demographic is the same age range, but boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you probably don't say I hate men all day. Like we make fun of it. This is
No, I do. And the demographic wants to be told how to behave. I'm not kidding. Like I think it's that age where they're trying.
That's interesting, because I think they want to be told how to behave by someone that looks like you.
them.
Because for example, like
if we say tell men how to act.
Do you know how many times I would trick men? You know how you show them?
Yeah.
I trick men into a safe space where they can talk about the things that they can't talk about in front of women. And most of the time it's disgusting. So
Yeah.
I just like cut it in the middle and be like, you garbage fire excuse for a human being. Did you really think you can say that in front of me? And it's like, it's such a trap. But like a lot of the times there are boys that are very sensitive and they really just want to get along and they don't know who to follow. And
Yeah.
it's really tough. Like consider being someone who has the option to belong and then they don't. And I've always thought that it's actually the person that you should be afraid of isn't someone who's assertive and aggressive. The person who you should be afraid of is someone who's just dying to be a part of something, because they will throw you under the bus at the first chance they get for approval.
Yeah.
And that's the position that males or mask presenting people are in. they're always presented with the opportunity to belong. This happens with like a lot of masked women that talk about women badly. I'm like, what do you think is happening? Do you think you're climbing up the social ladder? You're gonna be accepted, and you're gonna shit on women as well, or femme women that are like, oh, I'm so logical, I think like a man.
Yeah.
عافية عافية عليك. Yeah.
But it does seem like women are always the butt end of the joke. You know, whenever you want to, I saw actually a TikTok. I know we're talking about TikTok, but about
TikTok is amazing. It's the best fucking.
It is.
I love TikTok. Like I don't care. I did see a TikTok about a girl that was saying at work, like it was a corporate job, I highly encourage you girls to not look ultra feminine, to not wear makeup, to dress more masculine in order to get ahead. And she got so much hate in the comments, but the reality is that I know that's true.
Yeah.
That's what happened in the 80s when women had these shoulder pads.
Yeah.
They used to look like men. No, I'm sorry. I wouldn't give her hate, but I'd be like, it's been done. Don't repeat history. There are ways to do it, and there are ways to throw in the face. If there should be more women like you guys, for it to be the norm. It should be assumed if you see a pretty woman is that she has the time to work on herself to that degree.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part that what you just said is that like the fact that we take the time to like put this effort into our appearance. This takes hours.
No one woke up like this,
and we like go about our day, and we are able to like hold our own with the men, and yet we're still looked down on because we're either like you're either just pretty or you're smart. You can't be both. You can't be pretty and smart.
Whoever's perceiving it doesn't put enough time to do more than one thing. That's why they think everyone is like them.
Yeah.
They don't have basic empathy.
Yeah.
Like if you only have time for work, hudwani, or video games, that doesn't mean I'm arranging my time the way you are.
Yeah.
You know, stupidly. So
yeah.
Oh my god, it's so difficult to communicate with stupid people because like there's just a point where it's just there's no going further.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I am the way I am and that I am proud of my background. I'm very proud of being Arab, being Khariji, and being Sharia. I'm actually really, really proud of that. This feels so close to who I am, the way I dress.
Yeah.
And do you guys know Ra Ra Ra? They used to be called PM Basics.
No.
They make like traditional Arab garments like bisht and things like that.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is to wear a suit with their bisht on top.
Yeah.
It's just like this is exactly how I look at myself on the inside. This is like body euphoria for me.
I love that because I think, at least for me, I like you, like I am proud of my Arab roots. I am proud of like I feel like that is part of my my personality or my individuality, and then I bring other elements because I grew up, you know, all over, well, not all over, between Kuwait and the US, that I feel like that kind of is what makes up your individuality as well. So I love that. Like I do like bringing in like Kuwaiti elements as well, or like you said, like, you know, throwing on like a like whatever outfit and then throwing a bisht over it. And I think that's what people don't understand, is that you can kind of like merge and create this, like you don't have to always conform to what the culture expects you to dress or wear or look like. Like we can merge and we can, you know, create, like it's kind of like evolution in a way.
But there's also so much dumb denial about how our generation grew up. The fact that our oil is the center of attention and, you know, wealth and a lot of things to the West, imperialism plays a huge role in our identity, basic identity. The fact that a sweatshirt is something that I am very familiar with since before I was born is something that is related to my identity. Like the fact that it's not pearl diving. I only know pearl diving from books and I only know it from images.
Yeah.
My culture is a dead palm tree because it actually doesn't survive here.
Yeah.
My culture is glass vimto that's filled to the brim and I have to like drink it. Like that's how I represent my culture. That's what I grew up with. And I don't know why that's denied. The things that we watched, the way people dressed, the way Kuwaiti people dressed on TV, that's what affected me. So when I get comments like, oh, you're westernized, I'm like, you all are. What are you talking about? Even thoughts about gender are westernized because traditionally women do wear bisht. Traditionally women are kind of matriarchs. They do make decisions. They do run the house. Like, don't come to me with Western thoughts and tell me that I'm not this or not that when you're completely unaware of your background and what shaped the way you think.
Yeah.
Which goes to show you like حتى like separation between body and spirit. That's never something that was in Islam ever. It's such a Christian thing, and it's such a pagan thing to say that your soul just leaves your body. يعني النظافة من الإيمان عقل السليم في الجسد. All of these things are very Muslim things. You're the ones that are detached. I did the reading. You drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That should be a t-shirt.
We need to put that on a shirt.
I don't wear a t-shirt, so what's the point?
It's for you.
Okay.
With a little jacket.
A shrug.
With a shrug. Yeah, because you wear it and you're like, I don't know.
I mean, we talked a lot about like fashion, maybe like nonconformity in the sense of like fashion. Do you want to talk about like nonconformity in other ways?
It's actually really funny because I do consider myself to be a conformist in global fashion because I dressed like a classic, like Ralph Lauren, kind of like what people used to wear in the 60s when they, white people, yuppies on a boat. So my haircut, the way I dress has not gone out of fashion since the 60s and probably won't for at least 30 more years. I mean, even my rings are very, this is what people of a certain, so sometimes I don't understand when people have a problem with the way I dress. I'm like, I look like stationary. Like I fit in a maqlama. Why is that?
She's not only roasting you, she's roasting herself. Does that make
always
you feel
roast myself? It's the only thing I do.
All right, so I think we talked about the challenges of being a nonconformist, but do you think there are rewards, and what are the rewards, if any?
Okay, this is actually a very good point because whenever a woman does something amazing, and you have to do something amazing, otherwise you haven't done anything at all, then you're a trailblazer and you pave the way for all these, which is beautiful, great, what an achievement. But I wish I didn't have to be. Why do I have to be a trailblazer? Why can't I just like sit on my ass and just be normal and visible? But then again, like when someone who has not lived the life that I've lived gets comments the way I do, they'd probably stop making content. But for me, it's a given. So it's just, it might be unnecessary, it might be uncalled for, it might be something that I shouldn't have to be brave, but it did give me pretty thick skin.
Yeah.
So the challenge is through that thick skin to still be open to connections, to making friends, to feel something, to love and be loved. You know, it's really tough. Like, honestly, it's really tough to like be guarded, but also like live.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be positive about it that way because there isn't another way. It's not like I have other options than to be positive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here making fun of Mia.
Yeah. I think, me and Mia, I think we like as much as I think we look like you're stereotypical like girls, but I think we do, at least in our society, we can be labeled somewhat non-conformist because we also dress in a way that I think some people might deem as like provocative or maybe too.
You showed an ankle.
Yeah, showed a little bit too much of my ankle. No, but I think like in general, like we both feel a bit of like we're outsiders, I guess.
Outsiders everywhere.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think like leading like or building on to like the rewards part of it is that because you're outsiders, we kind of tend to like attract other outsiders, and I feel like you said, like there is more like this community and love, and I don't know if like us being like nonconformist like brings us together, and the connection becomes so deep because we're degenerates of society.
But it also teaches you how to network in a way that's very diverse. Like the way you network has multiple limbs and multiple ways of doing things. So even when you are abroad, where in a society where you would fit a bit better, you know how to communicate with people in a way that they can't.
Yeah.
So like if I'm in Europe, like I'm invisible in a major city in Europe. I'm actually invisible, which is something that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But as an artist, I do get my way in certain things that I honed as a skill in Kuwait.
Yeah.
And I do think that Kuwaitis have this thing that they're unaware of. And I see it in the West all the time. Like I travel and they're like, yeah, my best friend's Kuwaiti. I'm like, it's a small country. How are we everywhere? And it's because of reacting to certain types of pressure.
Yeah. All right. I know Mia had a question for you.
But she decided
Mia's time to roast you.
Yeah.
Were you an annoying know-it-all in class?
No, I was actually very quiet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really, really quiet.
Were you the shy, awkward kid in the back that knew everything but just wanted to be silent?
I wasn't shy or awkward. I just really enjoyed my own company. A lot of people thought I didn't have friends. Like I remember as a child having like really great games that I made for myself. It was a very good time with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is actually so cute.
Yeah.
Like I want to roast you, but I can't now. I can't. Because and now I'm thinking of like 8-year-old Zouz with the same hair and the same glasses and a suit. And like I want to.
I wore glasses in college. I had really good eyesight before
okay.
college. I can, like, my superpower is it's impossible to bore me. I will never be bored unless a person in front of me is really dumb. I'm like, oh, I'm bored of this.
Yeah.
But if you leave me in a waiting room with nothing, I'm like, how are people bored? I have a TV in my head. What are you talking about? I can just like think of things.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we have phones, so what's
Exactly.
I miss the 80s when all we did was look at our feet.
You weren't even born in the 80s. Shut up.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, okay, so since you're our first guest, we are gonna do something.
we're gonna shrug? This guy, man.
No, Mia, we do not condone violence in this podcast.
Hit our first guest. No,
I'm gonna hit our first guest.
Because you guys are a real show. Anyways, no, we wanted to ask if you wanted to ask. Basically, actually, there's no choice. Just do it. Would you like to ask a question to our next guest?
What would you do if you were your mother 15 years ago?
Whoa. That's a good one. I cannot wait to get the answer for that one.
It's a lesson in empathy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all the time we have today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Zouz.
Too bad. I had a lot to say to Mia.
You can roast her after the
Well,
camera.
I'll catch you outside.
How about it?
All right. Well, thank you so much for
you
being
guys so
here
much for
today.
having me.
Woo!
I had a great time. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. If you guys like this episode,
Share, like, comment, subscribe, rate,
up.
and review. If
All of
it's
that.
below 5 stars, as usual, don't
do it. We don't want it.
5 stars.
All right. I guess that's our time.
Yeah.
We're out.
See you next week. Bye.